Glide is a new mobility aid device under development by a company called Glidance. It has a long handle, you hold it at the top and you push it. It has big wheels near the bottom, near where it houses all of its robotics and all of its computer tech. And it uses self-driving car technology. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, this is Carrie on Accessibility and welcome to another episode of the A11y podcast. Here we deep dive into accessibility and technology. Today we'll be talking about Glide, and I did an interview with the founder, Amos Miller, and we talked about what Glide can do, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it's like to use it. It's currently still under development and may launch next year, possibly. So all of this is still in the very early stages of the product. Over the past couple of episodes, I've interviewed numerous people about their mobility devices, and something that I do want to make clear is on this channel I share information and news about products and services. However, this is not an endorsement unless I explicitly say it is, and it is not sponsored unless I say it is. However, this channel is supported by the COA members on YouTube and Patreon. Over the past couple of months, we've had new members, and thank you to Rajiv, Susan, and Paul for becoming COA members. Thank you to John, Charlotte, and Sierra for becoming COA insiders, and a big, huge thank you to Alan for becoming an COA Epic ally. I appreciate all your support. If you want to support this channel and my work, consider becoming a YouTube channel member or Patreon member. I'll share my thoughts and my opinions about this device after the interview. Without further ado, let's roll the interview and I will meet you on the other side. Thank you so much for coming today. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Carrie. My name is Amos Miller, and I'm the CEO and founder of Glidance, which is the company and the work that we are going to talk about in the discussion.
Awesome. So Glidance is a pretty new device. Tell us about it and what is it?
Of course. So the company is called Glidance, and we are developing a device that we call Glide, just to confuse everybody.
Okay.
And Glide is a primary mobility aid. It's a new primary mobility aid that uses autonomous driving technology to guide the way. Sounds pretty esoteric, so I can explain in a little bit more detail, and I'm sure we'll go into much more detail as we discuss it. But in effect, it's a long handle with two wheels on the ground. The wheels are about 2 feet or 3 feet in front of your leg, of your foot, depending if you're holding it in your right hand or your left hand. And you basically begin to walk. And as you start walking, the wheels nudge a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and steer the way so that it's actually guiding you. And it uses sensors and cameras and various cool stuff inside to help it detect obstacles, find a safe path, guide you to different destinations, and so on. So that's what Glide is at a very high level, and it's really designed to provide the community another option, another alternative alongside the white cane or the guide dog as another primary mobility aid. It's probably worth me adding, Carrie, that I'm blind myself, so I have retinitis pigmentosa. I lost my sight. I lost most of my vision during my 20s while I was doing my computer science degree. So most of my adult professional life, I've been blind. I worked at Microsoft for many years. Some of you might be familiar with my work on Soundscape, which is another navigation app that some of us in the blindness community use. And yeah, my work on Glide sort of is a continuation of my overall passion for technology and the passion for the opportunity of technology to actually help us get around and live more confident life.
That's great. I did not know that you worked on Microsoft Soundscape. That's pretty cool.
I did. That's been my baby for many years.
Well, maybe we should invite you back for another discussion on Soundscape sometime.
Yeah, it's great to see the Soundscape baby still out there. Microsoft is no longer investing in Soundscape, but it went to the open source community and
Mm,
is out there both as Soundscape community and as Voice Vista, two variants of the product. And it's really great to see the continued investment and development of the product. It's always exciting to see.
definitely. I actually have not had the opportunity to try Soundscape because it never made its way to Android, sadly.
It never did. No.
No, I guess I could still. I do have an iPhone, but I just haven't yet. But going back to Glide, and thank you
Yes.
for correcting me on, I thought the actual device was also called Glidance. So on the Glide, you said it was a primary mobility aid. In a nutshell, that means can it replace your white cane? Is that what you're aiming for?
I don't use the word replace. I use the word provide another option. It's not something like Soundscape or a GPS or a wearable that you use with your white cane or with your guide dog. It is a different mobility aid. Okay,
Hmm.
like you wouldn't use Glide with your guide dog. You could use Glide and have your guide dog on off harness, or you could. We have seen people, and I have been known to walk around with Glide with a cane in my other hand just to kind of tap around a little bit and get more information, but you don't tap your cane left and right as you would, because Glide is actually guiding you and it looks out for the obstacles, and you will never meet the obstacles because Glide is taking you around them.
One of the questions that I first thought about when I even saw the device is how does it handle stairs? Do you just pick it up?
Yes, you just pick it up.
Okay.
So basically, it will guide you to the stairs. It'll try to find the railing if one exists and get you as close as it can to the railing. It could inform you that it's theirs, but and then you'll have to pick it up to go up and downstairs. Now, if you go downstairs, you can. The wheels of Glide are fairly substantial, as in they're not tiny little wheels. They are like scooter size wheels or something like that. So you can roll it down if you like. And if you walk up the stairs, you can pull it behind you if you like, but it's probably more elegant if you just pick it up. And it's designed to be sub 6 pounds in weight and fairly easy to lift. So that's sort of how we're looking at that.
I have a friend who is losing vision right now, and we were talking about how do you use the stairs with your cane? And I guess for those out there, would you just have to carry it in a certain way to maybe kind of simulate it as being a cane? Can you do that so that you can kind of feel where the stairs end or where the stairs end?
Definitely, when you go down, you can.
Okay, okay.
Um, yeah, going up is slightly different. But I think so. I think the stairs question is definitely a very important question. I want to just maybe talk a little bit about the motivation for Glide and maybe to explain a little bit where we're coming from.
Hmm.
It's a fair question to ask why is this needed, right? I mean,
Yes, that was one of my
we
questions.
have canes, and we have guide dogs. So why, Amos, are you investing so much money and energy in something that we is largely solved? The reality is that I'll just throw a stat, okay? Now we can make of it what we want, but the stat generally says that in the US there are somewhere around 7 million people with significant or total sight loss. Okay, out of those, just over a million are registered. So those are the sort of numbers. Okay, we have 10,000 guide dogs in the US. That's less than 1%. Yeah. Between our most productive dog schools, we are able to train maybe 500 dogs a year. Okay. We we have about 120, between 120 to 150, let's be generous and call it 200,000 people who use canes and dogs, use white canes. There's still 97, 98% of us who don't, or use canes not to the level that we can actually get around independently, that we're very dependent on sighted assistance, especially our friends with sight loss who lose sight later in life, who lose their sight from glaucoma, diabetes, whatever the cause is, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. The great majority don't build the mobility skills to really use the cane confidently in the way that you would. Or I have my guide dog and I get around the world with my guide dog. Yeah. And so when I worked on Soundscape, for example, I could see that the only people who are really benefiting from Soundscape are people who are already out and about. We weren't getting new people out and about. Yeah. And that's really what led me to explore, if you are someone in your 60s and you reach the point that you can no longer get out of your home independently, and you're no longer able to do that walk around the block, that walk to the along the park to the nearby park, the walk to the nearby stores. If you are at work, you're no longer able to navigate your building very efficiently. And that becomes a major challenge in your life. That's what we're aiming at with Glide. We're aiming to help people get back on their feet if they're not on their feet, if they are on their feet but are not confident enough to get out and about. Glide is really designed to provide that very familiar and easy to use mobility aid that can get people beyond where they currently are at with their ability to get around. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to throw that into the mix because it's fair to compare Glide to the guide dog or the cane, and that we want. Yeah. But really, it's a very different kind of device. And I am sure, and we have a lot of people who are very interested in Glide, who are dog users or cane users, who would love a dog and but have a problem with the idea of having a dog. So Glide kind of bridges that gap in many ways. And we are interested. We are still in development, and we're really interested to kind of get all the feedback, and people are trying it out and sharing their feedback to make sure that this is a solution that solves addresses the needs.
Walk us through, what does it actually do? Once you're actually using it, how does it work? Um, does it actually, how do you program where you want to go? Well, how do you, like, what is it like to maybe walk down the street with it?
Okay, that's great. So at the basic level, it keeps you safe and avoid obstacles. Okay, avoid obstacles at the foundation. If you know your way around, yeah, you'd walk along the sidewalk. Let's say you know your way from your home to the bus stop that you need to get to. Okay, you just need to get there safely. So You don't need to set a destination in that case. You just walk with Glide. Glide will find the path on the sidewalk, keep you from bumping into obstacles, and really keep you on a nice straight line between the building line and the sidewalk curb, and you can walk, fast and smoothly. That's why we call it Glide, because you glide, you walk with confidence, and Glide sort of keeps if there's people in the way, trees, whatever, you just gently guides you around them. And then when you get to the curb, what Glide does is it detects the curb and it guides you to the curb. Okay, so it uses its camera and it detects the curb. When you cross the road, it will make sure you don't veer off left or right. It will keep you on the crossroad, on the crosswalk. If there is a need, it will detect the up curb and guide you to that. Some intersections are pretty messy, as we know. You can steer, glide left and right. So let's say you're walking along a building and you need to turn left. You can twist the handle to turn left, but Glide will resist the obstacle, like resist the turn until it opens up. So yeah, if you're walking on a sidewalk, or imagine if you're walking through corridors in a building, you know where you want to go. You know that you need to take the next left. You'll just twist the handle to the left, and as the opening comes around, it'll just go. You'll just take the turn. So it's very smooth. It's a bit like the intelligent disobedience that you have with guide dogs, where you tell them find left, and they're looking for the place to turn left. Yeah. So that's what we call freestyling. You freestyle with Glide. You don't set a destination. You are using it as a mobility aid. Okay. Now, in terms of the setting of destinations, there's basically three broad options. One is we can record routes with Glide. So there might be certain routes that you want to learn, or that you do regularly, and you can basically walk that route with Glide in training mode, and then it will take you on that route again.
During training mode, will it still do obstacle detection?
That's a great question. Yes. But it really memorizes the big picture part of the route. It will, when you go through that route again, it will deal with all the changes, like if people are in the way, or it's not trying to stick you onto the exact same line that you did in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a voice interaction with Glide. We're working on that you can ask, okay, I want to take me to the bus stop, and it'll start the route to take you to the bus stop. Yeah. So that, and the need for the way I see these kind of we call those pre-mapped routes, is really, that's the way, in most places, if you don't have a map, if you move to a new building where you're working at, and you need to know the way from the entrance to your cubicle, to the elevator, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, you can just train Glide on those routes, and you're up and running within half an hour. Yeah.
How does that work? Is that you're talking about inside, so that's not GPS. Is it using
It uses
cameras?
cameras. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It uses a camera, a depth camera. The camera is actually on the handle, so it's kind of waist level.
Mm-hmm.
And the radars, which are used for obstacle detection and avoidance, are at the ground level, so they're at the base near the wheels. So it uses a combination of those to detect and guide you. And yeah, it's pretty. That's how it works. And just to kind of finish the loop here, the next stage is, if you want to guide to a destination, Yeah, so you basically what we're doing is we're working to integrate Glide with mobility, with navigation apps. We don't want to really develop a new navigation app, so, but you can take choose your favorite navigation app, set a destination there, and Glide will help you get there. That's what we're working on. I think when we release Glide in about a year, we'll have some integration, and over time we'll have more integration. And we're also looking to enable you to request with voice where you want to go, but I can't. This is something that is still work in progress. So I don't know exactly where we'll get to.
Mm-hmm. What if you
But
don't want
mhm.
to use voice? Are you able to scroll through a list or
Yeah. So
okay.
well, you're able to scroll through pre-map things on Glide
Hmm.
itself, or use an app, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can so that leads me to another question. Do you have to use this with a smartphone with an app, or can this be a standalone device?
This is a question we are wrestling with as well, because we know that. So it's not something that will depend on an app for ongoing use. Okay, like you don't have to have your phone with you at all times when you're using Glide. That we know already. Okay, the phone, an app does provide a richer interface that you can do more with. Yeah, so that there is a benefit there. But at the same time, we also, there's two things, two factors here. One is that a lot of people don't have a smartphone, especially in the older population who we expect to be using Glide.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, we are really moving to an era where we can do a lot more with voice interaction. And maybe by the time we ship Glide, we won't need an app, right? So the good thing is that we still have to finish the work on the robot itself and all the core capabilities, and we'll get to the app question in about 3 or 4 months, and we can make that decision then. So
Got
these
it.
questions that you ask are great because they help us make the right decision for the community.
I'd like to clarify this is still under development. You guys aren't
Absolutely.
selling it right now. It's not
It's
open
not
to the
for
public.
sale right now. It is under development, and but we are doing a first of all we are doing the development out in the open with the community, and that's why we are talking here about it, and we're listening to your questions, and we encourage people to make contact with us. We hold monthly Zoom calls with people who are interested to join, and we address questions and discuss various things that we need to discuss. Um, it's a very kind of rich dialogue that we have with the community, also over email. We did. We expect to ship the device next summer, and we are actually starting to take. We started last week to take deposits on a basically to offer people who are super interested the possibility to become what we call founding gliders and secure a significant discount as well. So we are starting to take pre-orders uh, to get people to give people the opportunity to be first in line to get the device.
Great. And I'm sure all that is on the website that people can find
It's all on
information on.
glidance.io, not
Mhm.
glidance.com, but glidance.io. If you hop onto glidance.io, first of all, you can register with us and you'll be informed about all our developments. On the website, you can also place a deposit if you are feeling up to it. We will be at the NFB and the ACB conventions, where we will bring our latest prototypes for folks to try, to give feedback on. I would clarify again that the device is still in development, so the prototypes do certain things. Sometimes you have one prototype that does one thing and another prototype that does another, and we'll be very clear on that. And all of those prototypes are tightly controlled from our computers. We're not letting them loose just yet. But that's how we build. That's how we get feedback and make sure that we're building the right thing and doing, making sure that we get to the right device for everyone.
I actually have a few more questions about the device itself.
Okay.
What does the handle feel like? What are the material? What's it made of? Or is that not been decided yet?
It's basically it's a horizontal handle. It feels a lot like the handle of a service dog when you hold it.
Mm, mm,
Okay, so it's
mm-hmm.
horizontal. You hold it around your waist area. I would say a little bit further forward than where your hand hangs when you hold a service. It's the handle of
Gotcha.
a service dog. The handle has haptic actuators, so it's a haptic handle that will also communicate with you. So, for example, if one of the things I forgot to explain, is Glide doesn't pull you around. The wheels are not motorized in the way that it's dragging you around and you're just kind of running as fast as you can behind it. It's completely controlled by you. So you push it forward at the speed that you want to go. Okay, you want to walk slowly, you walk slowly. You want to walk fast, you walk fast. You don't have to set any buttons or do anything. You just walk. Um, that does mean, though, that sometimes Glide needs to communicate with you. For example, if it if the path gets narrow and you need to slow down and be careful, so Glide will give you a buzz on the handle, a haptic buzz to indicate to you slow down, getting narrow, or slow down, we're about to stop because we're about to get to the curb or about to get to a door or yeah. So there is a bit of an interaction between you and the device, and the device communicates with you through the haptics. For example, also if Glide needs to take a very sharp turn, like guide you between two tables in a restaurant, let's say, and it needs you to turn left, it will give you a signal on the left side of the handle, like an indicator signal, basically telling you we're taking a very sharp left turn and that Glide would appreciate your help in following it well. And yeah, like it's a bit of a dance between you and the device in these kind of situations. Yeah.
Mm.
And so knowing what Glide is trying to do can be helpful to you. So the handle has those haptic vibrations. It does have a speaker as well and a microphone where you can hear Glide and speak to it. You can also connect a Bluetooth headset to it, and also there's a button in the middle of the handle that if you squeeze the handle you can press, and that's used for certain confirmations and requests and things that we're building into the device. In terms of the material, it's along the lines of what the handle of a cane feels like. We're still working on finalizing the material just to make sure that it's obviously soft enough, but also durable enough so that it can last.
Is it waterproof?
It is, yes.
Okay, that's great to
It's
hear.
it's water. So we're designing it to be used in on wet days.
Hmm.
We're not designing it for swimming. So
Okay.
it's not designed to be submerged in the lake, and
If you
but
get caught out in the rain.
you'll be fine. Or
Okay.
even if you drive it through a puddle, you'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. So I'm pretty short, but I know a lot of people who are pretty tall. Is this one size for everybody or is it adjustable? What about
The
that?
handle length is telescopic, so
Okay.
you adjust it to your height, and it's important that it is adjusted to your height. And sometimes even
Hmm.
in your height, you want to change it. For example,
Yes.
so you always wanted the handle to be about 45 degrees down uh, in front of you. And so if you're taller, you'll need a longer handle for that.
How do
So
you
you
know if
telescope
it's
it down.
45
You
degrees?
kind of feel it. You kind of you get the you get the feeling. And sometimes, for example, you want to if you're indoors and you're doing very sharp turns and you need to you need it to be very versatile. You'll sometimes shorten the handle even more. And if you're out in the park taking great big strides without big turns, sometimes you'll extend the handle a little bit so that it's not so close to your feet. It gives
Mm-hmm.
you flexibility, really. It does give you feedback when you pull glide into position. So it can stand on its own with the handle vertical. Okay, you can let it go. And when you pull glide into position, you're basically pulling the handle beside you. It will give you audible signals to make sure that you're holding it at the correct angle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that you get that feedback.
What about in cars? Like, how far can you push the handle down, like, will so that you can, easily get in an Uber or something like that?
That's part of the design,
Okay.
absolutely. So that you can
Awesome.
you can fold it down, so you can get in an Uber and just drag it next to you or between your legs, or you can
Great.
on a bus you can just pull it on and put it under your feet. So it's absolutely designed for portability. Also on flights, you can put it in the overhead compartment. Um, all of these are very critical sort of requirements that we're building into the device as what should be a viable mobility aid. Like, it can't be something that takes you to the car and then you need a forklift to pick it up and put it in the back, right?
I've recently seen a lot of new mobility products in development, ones that you wear, robot guide dogs. I think you mentioned those. There's a lot more. I guess one of my questions is, how did you choose this particular form factor?
I've tried wearables for a long time. I tried to build them. Yeah. And my conclusion with wearables is that they're great if you already use a cane or dog, if they work well and if you're willing to wear something on your body. Yeah. Um, I do not think that they can replace something that is physically connected to the ground. At least not yet. Once we can plug in directly into the brain, maybe that will change. But with audio and haptics, you can't give somebody enough confidence with a wearable so that they don't need to hold a cane or a guide dog in their hand. I'm happy to be challenged on that, but in my experience in the last sort of 15 years of working in this space, I tried. Believe you me, I tried. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible to get somebody nice and smoothly through a door or up to a curb and stop, or zigzag between people who are walking in a very, with a wearable. I just don't, our body is not built for that. And the reality, like I said earlier, most people are not confident enough to use their cane or their dog. So you need something else. In terms of robot guide dogs, like dogs that walk, I think that those have potential. At the moment, they are pretty much all research projects, where the cost of the robot is huge, the weight of the robot is huge. I think that we are some way away before, and they make a hell of a racket when they walk as well.
Oh,
The noise, yeah, like it's not a nice, quiet
mm,
walk like you do with a guide dog. So I just think that they're a number of years out before they will be anywhere near viable. And I think we need to get the show on the road and get a device that's viable, and so that's where Glide is a device that touches the ground. It guides you, use all the smarts that the robot has, but it's light. It's generally affordable. We're pricing it at $1,499, so $1,500, and it's. I think that it's something that is viable for the foreseeable future.
mhm.
But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where are your thoughts on that?
Um, on the actual device, you mean?
Well, on that question of how of the different mobility
Oh,
aids,
okay.
because those do come up.
They do come up quite a lot, and I've seen a lot of the ones that you wear,
Hmm.
and I've done interviews with people on the ones that you wear,
Hmm.
and I just don't know if I would wear it. I don't think I would want to put on a harness or a strap or something that's like on my body first. I don't know how comfortable it will be. And second, I mean, how does that look with maybe a dress or with you can put down a cane, you can put down something that you're using like next to you. Um, but that's harder to do with something that's wearable unless it's, a bracelet or something like that small, which
Hmm.
again, if it's that small, how much utility will it actually have? And I actually had a conversation. I don't know if I'd ever get a robot guide dog, but if I could, unless I could ride it, and maybe it could be a robot guide horse, I could ride it, and maybe it can have wings too, and also cook my
Sure.
meals and do everything else. Which I don't think is going to happen, obviously. And so I I think that there's also, let's just say, the WeWalk cane. That's also like a smarter cane. That's I would say it's closer to Glide than the wearables. And I guess for me, I haven't tried it myself, but if I have to still do the same things that I have to do with a regular cane, uh, how much is it actually going to add to my life? I'm not sure. I don't know. Would sometimes I get very excited over things, maybe too much so, and I would like to try the different ones before I actually,
Yeah.
comment further, if that makes sense.
No, no, that's a
Mhm.
great analysis, and I really appreciate you sharing that. And I think that's these are the considerations that we all go through.
Mhm.
What I can say is two things. First of all, you don't use glide like a cane. That
Mhm.
you
Yes.
don't tap it. You don't ever encounter the obstacles. You just walk. So
Mhm.
it's very different to the WeWalk because you don't need to make those adjustments consciously. It's just it guides. It
Mhm.
actually steers. And secondly, it looks stunning. It's beautiful. It doesn't look like a mobility aid. It looks like a futuristic scooter kind of thing. It's it's compact. It's got LED lights at the bottom. It's a stunning device.
But I love how you said scooter because that would be really awesome if you could have an attachment, like I don't know, the Glide Pro or something, and then just you can use it like a scooter and have everything. They have electric scooters these days, and I'm like, I would love to use those. I would love to,
Yep.
but I would probably crash, so it might not be such a good idea.
Yeah.
But that would be um
Yeah.
an
That's the
idea
that
to
you know
visit in the
that's we've
future.
got to start somewhere, but that's
Yeah.
we do get a lot of interest from
Yeah.
people from older people who use walkers, for example, asking
Yes. I can imagine
helping.
so.
So anyhow, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential. We're starting with something that we believe is immediately feasible, immediately powerful, immediately it can get you far beyond where you are today, and then we'll build on that.
Awesome. Actually, a question that I've been asking everybody on the podcast is, what do you think contributes to assistive technology being so expensive?
I do think it's a question of value and cost as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times we find that we get things that are expensive that are not as valuable as they could be, or the promise doesn't deliver
Mm-hmm.
at all. Sometimes it depends on the complexity of the solution. Okay, I'm assuming that it's not exploitation. Okay, in some cases that might be problematic. I'm assuming that this is not that we're not talking about exploitation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things that we're doing at Glidance to try and contain the costs as much as possible. I mean, it's still a very high-tech device. It requires very significant engineering, robotics, AI, everything you can possibly imagine. Yeah. We're doing a few things to contain the costs. We've designed it so it doesn't climb stairs, because we know that the moment it needs to climb stairs, it's going to be 10 times more expensive. Okay. And 10 times likely to break, more likely to break. And yeah. So we kept the design simple, simple, simple. If you see the device, you go, holy shit, it's just a stick and two wheels. Yeah. Like it's, and, so really, really keeping it super simple. And the second thing is that we are designing it for, how shall I say? If you try to design a device just for cane users, there's not enough cane users out there to justify the investment. So you have to make it expensive. If you're designing something that's for everyone, for people who for cane users, but also for people who need more help and would benefit from a device that they can just get on Amazon and go without having to wait for uh, training and yeah, then you just open up your market, and once you opened up your market significantly, you can really drive the costs down.
Great answer. And one of my last questions is, what are you most excited about assistive technology in general, or even just technology?
I am enjoying to see technology, the consumer technology, moving off the screens and into our real world.
Hmm.
I think that we kind of over the last 20 years have condensed everything into a little square piece of glass. And I just don't think that, I think that it's great for what it is, but I think we've reached, I mean, the potential for what we can do with in the physical world with technology is just incredible. And I don't want to call it robots because we have very certain expectation of what robots are. But I think with the intelligence that we can have access to, AI that we have access to, the compute capabilities that are now incredible, powerful compute capabilities, and sensors and everything, and the costs just going down and down and down. We can expect, I think it's an inevitable future that in the next 5, 7 years, we will see many more people with sight loss, with blindness out and about. And I think that the great majority will be aided by some form of an intelligent guide. And it's going to be physical. It's not going to be something that whispers in your ear.
Hmm.
And I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. I am too. I'm ready and eager to see whatever technology throws at us. But thank you so much for joining me today, for answering all my questions. This has been such a really enjoyable conversation. Thank you so much,
Thank
Amos.
you. Thank you, Carrie. And looking forward to continuing the conversation as we bring the product to life and have people engage, ask questions. Again, glidance.io. I urge people to go onto our website, register. We do Zoom calls, we do the engagement with everyone. So please, welcome to the community.
Perfect. And I will have all those links down in the description. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, there was the interview. It was a great conversation with Amos, I think, and I have some thoughts. First of all, I do give credit where credit is due. I love to see other people that are blind or low vision take things into their own hands and try to develop something that's made for us, with us in mind, and I hope that this remains true. I did not know that he worked on soundscapes, which was pretty cool. If you use soundscapes or its new open source versions, let me know in the comments. I think this is a cool concept. I do agree that right now, with how things are, there's just nothing like having that tactile experience of having something on the ground like your cane or your guide dog. It's just different. I think it's very challenging to replace something like that with, say, the Suno band or the strap ARA, which is a device we talked about in the last episode, or biped, which is another one that I'm hoping to have an interview about. So I do see this as a maybe more viable device than some of those other ones. However, this is over $1,000, and that's just really expensive. I can get a cane for $20, $30, $40, maybe $80 or $120 depending on the cane, right? But still, that is a far cry from something that's over $1,000. It's also a lot heavier. He mentioned it's sub 6 pounds, and sub 6 pounds is still heavy. I right now complain about my cane that's graphite, and if I put a tip that is heavy, I already feel that it's heavy. It doesn't matter if I'm doing two-touch or just rolling it back and forth, it does feel heavy. Carrie from the future here, I just wanted to add, at least with Glide, you're just pushing. So there is that. Unless, of course, you're going up or down the stairs. I think this is really cool technology, and I would love to see what's done with it in the future, and possibly, I guess, organizations are going to sponsor or provide these devices to some people, I suppose. But in general, I think this is just not that accessible of a price. It's not just about Glide, it's about all of these different devices that replace or try to augment or replace the cane. Even the WeWalk, it's cheaper, yes, but how much more value or utility is it giving you for the price? I don't know. Again, I haven't tried this. It's not out yet, and maybe it will be amazing, and maybe we can change our minds after we try it, but I'm really not sure. There are some things that I do like about this. I like that you have to push it. I like that you are given the decision of guiding the Glide, like that you glide with it, I guess is the idea, and that it doesn't just pull you around, It's not like you're taking somebody's elbow and then you're off on a ride. There's still that sense that I'm making the decision, I'm going forward, you are in control, you're pushing this device. It's not just dragging you all over the place. I do like that one. It's also nice that it's waterproof. It can go through puddles if it's rainy. That sounds good. I also like the idea that you're not wearing it, and so you can put it to the side. However, with something that's so expensive, I would just be really nervous, honestly, about taking something that expensive and that large with me. Well, this is just me, but I guess part of it is the fact that I tend to lose canes. I lost one at an airport, at a camp, at here and there, and what happens if you break this $1,000+ device? What happens if somebody takes it? What happens if you lose it? To be fair, that could apply to a lot of different tech, like your phone. These days they can be almost as expensive. But you aren't dependent on those things for mobility, though. This is Carrie from the future again, by the way. This also just relies on AI, and how much can we trust AI and machine learning? at least it's supposed to be in front of you. So, if there's something there at ground level or a little bit above that, you won't run into it. It does remind me of a vacuum. You have that long pole with the handle, and you can hold that. It doesn't look very wide. It's just wide enough for your hand to hold on to, and then it has that body. I can imagine like a vacuum bag in there with these big wheels. It does look more elegant than that. I don't know. A lot of these devices, these newer things that are under development, I am down to try 100%. But I need to see it in action and to see that it's really delivering what it's promising. And I just don't know that we have that yet, and we'll have to see if we do get that. What do you guys think about this device and just mobility devices in general that are under development? And what could we replace the white cane or dog with? Let me know in the comments. Will this actually accomplish the goal of getting non-cane users or people that are nervous or not confident about going out and walking around? Will this actually get them out? Like, is that a possibility? Even if it's not for the average cane user, right? Will this be something that people use? Let me know in the comments your thoughts and insights. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to support Carrie on Accessibility or COA, consider becoming a YouTube or Patreon member. I would really appreciate that, and it would help me make more content like this. I also post different updates and extra bloopers and videos. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.